Hi, I'm Emily and I love cider. I am an international cider judge. I travel the world to taste ciders, and I have the privilege of working with Pacific Northwest cider makers. Today we're going to talk about cider styles. Just like with beer and wine, there are many different cider styles out there. They are changed based on the yeast, the apples used, the fermentation techniques. Maybe there's a longer fermentation or a colder fermentation, and the aging also affects cider styles. So the way I like to break it down first is based on the apples. Modern ciders are made with modern, more new apples. So those are apples we see in the grocery store all the time. That's the Gala, the Fuji, the Granny Smith, the Honey Crisp. Those are modern apples. Then the heritage apples are made with apples that have been bred to make cider. So that might be the Kingston Black or the Dabinet, the Yarlington Mill. They have weird and bizarre names and I love them. They usually have higher tannins, they maybe have higher acid in them, and they'll make a complex cider from the apple flavors and aromas. So within those two broad categories, we also will talk about the fermentation and the aging, the other ingredients that also go into ciders. So first of all, I love to talk about fruit ciders. That's really, really inventive. Right now we're seeing a lot of Pacific Northwest cider makers using the fruits that we have locally. So this one has raspberries in it. This is going to be a dry cider with raspberry juice added later. The same goes with, you can find a lot of acid in certain fruits like the tart cherry. So this is a dry cider that then was added to with tart pie cherries. Peaches, stone fruit, all of the wonderful fruits that we grow locally make interesting complex ciders. Also, there are barrel-aged ciders. So when a cider maker will throw a cider into maybe a whiskey barrel like this one, or a tequila barrel, or just a plain oak barrel, for example, the cider will take on the characteristics of that barrel. Maybe there's a little bit of booziness from the whiskey, or maybe there's a lot of tannins from a new oak barrel. The other thing I love is hopped ciders. You might be surprised that hopped ciders are not usually bitter. Cider is not brewed like beer, it's not cooked, and a hop gains all of its bitterness from the cooking. So actually with cider, hop flowers are added to the cider and they're not cooked, they're just sort of steeping in the cold cider, and that adds a floral or a citrus note usually. Finally, I wanted to touch base on rosés because they're really fun, rosé all day, to point out that there are heritage cider apples that are actually pink inside. You can kind of see them on the label here. They're really bright pink inside. And you can have a rosé cider. Rosé basically just means pink, right? A pink cider. You can have it based on the fruit that's added, the modern fruit. So this one's cherry. Or it can be a heritage cider fruit that gains its color from the apples. So there we go. Cider styles in a nutshell. Cheers.